cuties, welcome to my channel. It is Wednesday afternoon, as you can see, 4:42. In today's video, I just wanted to share with you how I make a really quick homemade pasta sauce or tomato sauce. It's really simple. It is a weeknight, like I said, so I don't want this to cook all day. I just want it to be real quick. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And right here I have just some roughly chopped onions. I don't go crazy because they break down a little bit. Some chopped garlic. Those are 3 garlic cloves. Of course, I have all the dry herbs. I have parsley, basil, and oregano. I do have the San Marzano tomatoes, and I'm going to show you what I do with those. And over here is just a cheese rind from Parmigiano Reggiano. This is kind of a big piece. I might do just half of that in the sauce, and I'll show you how I do that. And the only other thing I do add to my sauce is a little bit of sugar or sweetener. My husband is very sensitive to the acid in tomatoes, so I do like to add a little bit of sweetener. So I'll show you the next step. I forgot to mention, I'm making this a meat sauce, and this is just some ground turkey meat, and I just sauteed it a little bit with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder, just to give that a little bit of flavor. And after I whiz up and smooth out the sauce, I will add the meat. So on to the next step. So what I'm starting with is just a tiny bit of olive oil in this whole entire pan of tomatoes. So it's not going to really be oily or anything. I just start the onions in a little bit of olive oil with salt and pepper. And then next I'm going to add the garlic. Just cook that for about a minute. Then I'm going to, when I add the garlic, I'm going to add the dry herbs just to give them kind of a little wake up, a little heat up, and they'll hopefully taste a little bit better. Although I really like dry herbs in this recipe, you of course could use fresh. Today I don't have any fresh herbs in the house, so we're going to go with the dried, and it's going to be delicious. As always, I wish you guys could smell this. Just the onions and the olive oil, just the smell is incredible. So we're going to just cook the onions until they kind of soften a little bit. Like I said, I'm going to just add the garlic for like just a minute and kind of toast up or soften up the dry herbs, and that's going to be good. And then I'll add our tomatoes. And also, I don't know if I mentioned in the beginning, but I'm going to be pureeing the sauce. I like it really smooth, and the tomatoes I have are whole tomatoes, which have really great flavor, but I want kind of a smooth sauce today. And then after that's all whizzed up and smooth, I'll add the turkey meat. And I may need to add a few more herbs because it's hard to judge how much until you kind of see it in the sauce. So there we go. Okay, so I added the garlic. I added all my herbs, and oh my goodness. Now that smell of oregano with the onions and olive oil, oh my goodness, so delicious. So I'm just gonna let that kind of saute for about a minute or so, and then I will add the tomatoes. Okay, so the garlic and the herbs toasted up a little bit. And be careful, don't burn the garlic. I'm sure you guys have heard that a million times, but it really, it's such an awful flavor. So I tend to even undercook it a little because it's going to cook in this sauce for a little bit. So I added the tomatoes, and like I mentioned, they're whole tomatoes. So I broke them up with a wooden spoon just a little bit, and I added the rind from the cheese. And I'm going to let this simmer. It's going to reduce a little bit. And then I'm going to whiz it up, make it smooth, and add my turkey. So stay tuned. Okay, so there's the sauce just bubbling away slowly. I don't want to go too crazy. And you can see all the herbs, so I think I have just the right amount of herbs. And I did add a little tiny bit of sugar. I actually used regular sugar. And I'm going to give it a taste kind of towards the end when it reduces a little bit. And I forgot to tell you what I put the cheese rind in there for. That's for flavor. It gives a nice salty, kind of little bit cheesy That is just the rind, so it's kind of a little bit harder. Of course, I'll take that out before I whiz it up, and it's gonna be awesome. So stick around. The sauce has been simmering away for about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna pull out that rind. I taste tested it, it's so delicious. And then I'm gonna whiz it up with my immersion blender, which is really another game changer. It really helps if you wanna keep a sauce or whatever you're making in a pot and you don't wanna transfer it to your blender. And I don't want it super pureed, like smooth, but just kind of get most of the chunks out of the tomatoes. So I'm going to pull the cheese out and I'll get it whizzed up and smoothed out, and I'll add my turkey. So I pureed it, and you'll see there's a couple chunks in here, and it's okay. And just a tip about the immersion blender, please make sure the blade of the blender is completely submerged in the liquid before you turn it on, or you have spaghetti sauce all over your kitchen. It's quite messy. So now that it's pretty smooth, I'm going to add the turkey, and I'm going to let it simmer for just about 10 minutes to kind of meld the flavors with the turkey. And I will come back and show you what the completed sauce looks like. Okay, here's the finished product. So you can see the color changed a little once I used the immersion blender. And that's okay, it's just the cheese kind of mixing with it, but it just looks amazing. And you can use this on anything, obviously. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually use some of this for dinner tonight, and then I'm gonna package up some for the freezer, so it's all ready to go. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing if you're not. And if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot, and I can keep making these fun videos. Thanks so much for watching.